Can you imagine living in a world so strict that if you stepped one toe out of a line, that you would be shot?
This has happened to a woman named Kathy Orcutt, who was stationed in the Navy during this frightful time.
Do you remember anything special happening in the Navy?
When my ex-husband and I, we were husband and wife then, we had an opportunity to go to Greece when we were in Italy, and we took a medevac C9 plane over to Greece. And at that time, it was right after the Athens bombing. I know you guys are too young to remember that, but there had been a bombing at the Athens airport. And so when we were getting off the plane, they said they had lines on the tarmac and said, stay within those lines, don't make any sudden moves, or you'll be shot. So it was like, okay, so we walked and we went all over Greece. My husband and I and a friend that went with us, and toured the ruins of Greece, and it was just awesome. And then coming home, we flew a C-2A, which is a smaller prop job military plane, and there's no bathroom facilities on there.
Our names are Macy
and Avery.
Thank you for joining us today.
Today we're going to be telling you about Kathy Orcutt.
We started off Kathy's story by asking her about where she was from.
Where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in Davenport, Iowa. You guys know where that is?
I've heard of it.
It's clear over on the east.
Oh.
After researching Davenport, we found that it is peacefully located right alongside the Mississippi River on the eastern edge of Iowa. The population is about 102,320.
Although Kathy is from a relatively small town in Iowa, she grew up in a large family. Including herself, Kathy was a part of a family of 11. Even small-town life seemed chaotic with a family that size. Everything from getting ready in the morning to getting fed every evening was madness. They didn't have much money, didn't have a car to travel in, but they had each other, and Kathy wouldn't change a thing.
However, on Kathy's 18th birthday, her family's life was soon flipped upside down.
Kathy was joining the Navy.
No, I as soon as, when I was about your guys' age, I came from a family of 9 kids, and we didn't have the money or the vehicle to go on vacations and stuff, so we saw maybe a little bit of Illinois, and I mean, we never even went west of Iowa City, so I knew nothing, of anything. So when I said, I'm going to go in the military and I'm going to see other parts of the country, and I did.
Kathy's siblings and her parents were very supportive of her decision, but they were going to miss her very much.
Kathy decided to join because of many reasons. First of all, she really wanted to see the world. Growing up in poverty, her family never had money to travel, so she was ready to step up. Also, Kathy had family in the military, so that was a point of inspiration for her too.
A great experience. I mean, I didn't like boot camp because that's the first I'd ever been away from home. Yeah. So I cried a lot, and after 6 weeks, then we finally got to call home, and everybody would stand outside the phone booth. That's when we had phone booths. With a box of tissues, because they knew, I'd be crying most of the time. And it was just so, emotional and stuff, but it was still awesome, And then when I graduated, my parents were gonna come, but my dad had been in a car accident, so the car, they couldn't come out then, so that was kind of bummer. But then I flew home afterwards, a lot of tears and stuff after boot camp. But
her parents were proud of her and what she was doing. After many weeks of grueling workouts, Kathy finally graduated boot camp, just as she thought she was going to the Vietnam War.
However, she would luckily not be fighting in the war. Instead, her job was to load and unload plates that landed on whichever boat she was working on. Kathy talked to us about how she would not go on a boat with all men because she does not want to be uncomfortable being the only girl.
I thought about bringing my company picture. We probably had 60 in our company, and there was 10 companies then, at where we were. So it was just really, there was a lot. But now, with women going aboard ship and stuff, I wouldn't want to. I mean, I'm not that kind. Some people like, the guys just hitting on them and stuff, but to me, that it would make me uncomfortable being on a ship like that with like maybe only 2 or 3 women and 600 men or something. It just it's a disaster waiting to happen. I think I don't think it's correct. Women in combat, yes, but on the close quarters of a ship like that, that's just my opinion. And some people make it work, but I don't think I would. I regret that I never got to go on a ship just to see it, because I think it would have been awesome to see an aircraft carrier and stuff, but I just never did.
So would you go back to the Navy?
I would, but at the time when I got pregnant with my son.
Kathy was not okay with being one of the 4 females on a boat full of men. She mentioned a few times how being a female in a male-dominated industry was difficult at times.
Kathy also had dreams of traveling while she was in the Navy. Like we said, when Kathy was growing up, her family was not the wealthiest, and the most she got to travel was a few states down. While Kathy was in the Navy, she got to go to Naples, Italy, and Athens, Greece. During the interview, we asked her if she met anyone special. She said she did not, even though she wished to.
Being in the Navy has impacted Kathy for the rest of her life. One of the biggest impacts the Navy left on Kathy is the idea of respect. Everyone is taught respect in basic training. They learn respect learning about the ranking system, also following commands.
Kathy thinks that kids today lack the respect and that everyone should have to go to boot camp and learn the correct way of respect. We think Kathy is right. Kids today are very disrespectful. They talk back to teachers, they bully, they do not do the right thing in class, and they don't use their manners whatsoever. We think respect is important because someday we are going to get older and we are going to want to be respected.
Another way the Navy impacted Kathy is her value of family. While she was in the service, she was unable to communicate with them at times. During times like this, she began to understand how important family is. Today, Kathy makes times in her schedule to see them. Kathy also places importance on her family after the passing of her son. You never know what is going to happen to your family, so you should always love them.
Kathy shared many interesting stories with us, and we want to thank her for that. We appreciate these stories and lessons with us, for we have learned a thing or two ourselves. If you're listening to this, Kathy, thank you for your service. We also want to thank all of the other veterans in the countries that experienced scary moments and risked their lives for us. I am Macy Maley.
And I am Avery Fritz.
Thank you for listening to this story about Kathy Orcutt. Remember, never take life or family for granted because you never know when something is going to happen.